The Mercedes EQS, an all-new electric luxury sedan, is finally here. And swing and a miss.
Oh no, you're wrong.
Dude, okay, so this is a world debut of this luxury sedan, brand new car from Mercedes EQ. And so let's just talk about what it actually is, and then I'll tell you why it's not strong enough.
All right, go for it.
Well, so it's a brand new chassis, right? It's not an S-Class that has been electrified, right? It's a brand new platform that's all electric.
It is. It does share a couple components underneath with the S-Class, and it's built in the same facility that they build the S-Class in, but that's where the similarities begin to wane.
Yeah, but so it's supposed to be an all-electric luxury machine, right? So the interior is very important, of course. Here we see it in this two-tone color.
Which looks good.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. It does look good, especially in the two-tone view. And it has this amazing interior with, you know, that hyper screen.
Yeah,
Right.
that is a really cool screen. So it incorporates 3 different screens underneath a main screen, and we'll go over that in just a minute.
Yeah, but you know what? So talking about kind of what powers it, its range, and potential pricing, although Mercedes EQ did not provide an exact price, the starting price.
Or an exact range.
Yeah, when you look at the competition like the Tesla Model S and some of the higher variants of that car, and also the new Lucid Air car that's coming out very soon, and the luxurious variants of that car, I was expecting a little bit, maybe more oomph from the EQS. I'm talking about acceleration, power. It's not quite there.
All right, well, let's talk about that, and then I'll disagree with you because you're so wrong.
Yeah, so the EQS 450, that's basically the base model, rear-wheel drive.
Rear drive.
One motor. It has 329 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque. That's right. It's a one-motor system.
Yeah, rear drive.
Rear drive. That's cool. Also, 4-wheel steering is available. Yeah, so that's all good. So then there's also the 580 EQS, right? 2 motors, front and rear, so all-wheel drive.
All-wheel drive.
That's very cool, which is also available in the Model S and will be available in the Lucid Air. And that car has 516 horsepower total and 611 pound-feet of torque. I like that they quote the torque and power numbers because some other manufacturers don't.
Tesla.
But I'm not impressed, dude. 516?
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Really? My Silverado truck has 420 horsepower.
Your Silverado truck also doesn't have maximum torque at 0 RPM. Your Silverado truck also doesn't have the ability to go well over 400 miles on a single charge. Now keep in mind, and this is what I want to get to before he goes into any other facts. Mercedes-Benz, with their S-Class, has always represented the absolute pinnacle, the absolute top of engineering for both luxury and general sport, because unless you're going to an AMG version of the vehicle, basically you just want something that's really competent, very capable, and very safe, but most importantly, luxurious and comfortable. And I think that's exactly what they managed to do with this vehicle. Remember, the more power that you're putting out, the less range you're going to get. Also, the potential for greater heat. Heat is a major issue with these batteries. And I think that Mercedes may have solved that by not going crazy peaky with the horsepower. And also remember that this vehicle, what it's built for, taking people and wafting them from one point to another in absolute luxury and absolute comfort and in high-tech comfort, has been accomplished.
Okay, so the maximum acceleration time is 4.1 seconds.
Which is really good.
Yeah, but my Ram TRX can almost do that. Okay,
No.
so okay, let's turn our attention.
You put Ram in the same. You can't. You don't just. You don't put Ram in the same category as Mercedes-Benz. You don't put Dodge in the same category. You don't put FCA or Stellantis in the same category. Never do that again.
Okay, fair. I will not do that again. But so let's look at the chassis. Okay,
All right.
And Mercedes is of course very, very precise when they're stating their specifications.
Precisely.
And they actually quote their usable capacity on the battery, which is 107.8 kilowatt hours, which is a sizable battery.
It's a decent sized battery, yeah.
Yeah, and they say on the European cycle, it can go maybe upwards of 480 miles.
And we're going to assume that the American cycle will be a lot less.
Yeah, it probably will be somewhat less, but still very competitive.
Oh, yeah.
So that's all good. And a more powerful version may come later, but we don't know what it is.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe an AMG version.
Okay, well, I'll give you that.
So let's talk about charging times.
Yeah, that's very important because it is a sedan. I can't believe it's not an SUV. But so charging times, right? They're quoting 31 minutes from 10% to 80%.
Yeah, that's with the 110 kilowatt DC fast charger.
Yeah, but that was impressive like 2 years ago.
All right, so if you have a level 2 charger, they're saying that it needs 11.25 hours. That's 240 volts.
So overnight.
Overnight,
kind of.
basically. Yeah. So you plug it in at home, let it go overnight, and you're ready to go the next day. I don't think either of those numbers are particularly bad. It's just a question of whether or not you're willing to look at what those numbers are versus what the tech is. Remember, heat is a major enemy when it comes to battery electric vehicles. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of them can't go around a racetrack more than a few times without frying themselves or shutting everything down and slowing it up. I have a feeling that Mercedes found a nice special area where they're getting range and they're getting battery longevity and they're getting good performance.
Let's turn the attention to the interior, okay? So,
Okay.
yes, I see nice materials. This hyper screen is amazing.
Okay, stop right there.
Yeah?
All right, folks,
What?
I want you to look at this interior carefully. Now, even the armrest, which looks like it comes right off of a yacht built in the 1950s, if you look at the wood and the lines and everything else, then you look at the way that they incorporated leather and all the different materials. There's certain metals in there and the absolute amazing looking round vents that look like they came right off a jumbo jet. They absolutely look beautiful. And one of the things they managed to do with this massive infotainment system, and it's massive, it goes from one side to the other, is they made it look good because they have several different types of curves in it. It's not just a flat piece of glass. And unlike Tesla, unlike Lucid, unlike Porsche and those other companies out there that are competing, this is aesthetically pleasing. The other ones are minimalist. Big difference.
It may be pleasing, but you're wrong because, okay, let's look at the system, okay?
Yes.
All right, so beautiful screen, I'll give you that. Beautiful steering wheel. But tell me, is there a knob to change the temperature?
Why do you need that?
Is there a knob to change volume?
Why do you need that?
Because when I'm driving, and I'm assuming, this is still not a self-driving autonomous vehicle, right? It comes close to that, but
Yeah.
maybe not a fully autonomous vehicle. When I'm going around the corner, I don't want to look on the screen and try to, use my finger and try to do some sort of a feature.
Stop right there.
What?
So one of the things this vehicle is able to do is it actually predicts a lot of what you're going to be doing. So for instance, navigation, phones, in terms of where you're going in general, and when it comes to the comfort of the cockpit, how it adjusts. And also this vehicle is able to work with your voice, and this vehicle is able to work with hand gestures, so you can easily control these components without having to touch or turn or spin.
Okay, we've used several Mercedes systems recently, right?
Recently?
When I'm talking to my friend, I'll say, I'm in this Mercedes. The car interrupts me and says, how may I help you? Well, I wasn't talking to the car, I was talking to my friend.
Because you're not being polite.
And then when the machine, this AI, artificial intelligent computer, starts to think for me, is it really going to go so well?
Now you say that now, but I know that in your sleep you hug your pillow and think about AI all the time. You are a tech freak. Not only that, this vehicle has like over 350 sensors in it. 350, which is crazy. It's adjusted for weather, light, sound. Everything is absolutely under control. And think about it. When you're getting into an electric car, even the current ones that are out there like Tesla, you're already under their control. You're already at this level. Mercedes just takes it up a notch.
Okay, so there's one major problem that I haven't even mentioned.
Okay.
It is a sedan.
Oh,
Okay,
so-
it does have a hatch in the back.
It is a hatchback.
Yes, but sedans are not as popular now as they used to be. Everybody wants a giant SUV, that's very tall and comfortable and gives you just a feeling of confidence on the road, and it's also capable maybe even for off-roading. Why is this not an SUV?
I can't really argue with that because there's a lot of people with bad taste out there who only want crossovers, and I don't understand it because this thing is gorgeous. But remember, it has one of the lowest the
coefficient.
drag coefficient. Sorry, guys. It has one of the lowest drag coefficients out there. It's like at 2.0, which is incredible. If you turn it into a crossover, it won't have it.
Yeah, I guess for range you do need to be slippery. But here's the thing. Yes, horsepower and acceleration times were really, really popular a couple of years ago. Everybody talked about it, right? And now the latest is kind of the efficiency and range also is very, very important. And the coefficient of drag is important. But if you look at the other cars, they're in the neighborhood. So the Tesla Model S is 0.208 within, 8/1000s.
That's like a brick. It's terrible.
No, and the Lucid Air is a 0.21. I know coefficients of drags are like impossible to understand. It's very difficult to make a slippery car, but the competition is there too.
Indeed, it is. Think of a raindrop. A raindrop is one of the more aerodynamic things out there, and that's basically what cars are going to look like in the future. Fortunately, this one doesn't. By the way, I should quickly mention that in terms of wheelbase and overall size, it's very similar to an S-Class. So they're really close in terms of overall, numbers. But here's the best part, and this is the part that Andre forgot to mention. If you sit inside of a current, let's say Mercedes-Benz S-Class, the current model, and you look at the materials and the build quality, how well things are held together, whether or not you're seeing glue hanging off the ceiling, whether or not components fall off the vehicle as you're driving. And then you go into a Tesla and you worry about things like, the door opening or things falling off. There's a significant difference there. I would rather, if I had high-end clients, I'd rather put them into a Mercedes-Benz that I know for a fact has the highest quality materials available, the most comfortable seats available, and ambiance that absolutely takes you from the point of saying, I'm a fanboy of Tesla, to I know Mercedes is going to be good. There, I said it.
Okay, well, to me it looks like a elongated raindrop.
It looks good, and that two-tone looks fantastic, and you cannot deny that.
Tell me, is there a frunk in the front?
No, there's not, and there's a reason why, though. Don't even go to the frunk.
What's in the front?
Okay, so instead of having a cavity that you can take a journalist and shove them inside of, and blah, 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 instead of having that, it has a large HEPA filter that's located if you open the hood. And that HEPA filter is there to make the air inside the vehicle super clean and super pure, and it takes out a lot of the contaminants as it blows it into the cabin. That is extremely important, and I'd rather have that than a frunk. And on top of that, you have a really large rear trunk / cargo area because it is a hatchback, so you can fold down the rear row seats and have quite an area for cargo.
Did they have any other shapes other than the rainbow when they were designing this car?
You're actually complaining about the shape. You're actually complaining about the shape. It's a good-looking car. It has a great shape. It's better looking, I think, than the concept, and I think it's a really good car to start, in America at least, with your very first effort, right? Your very first real electric vehicle. I think it's an absolute smash hit.
All right, so pricing has not been announced,
No.
like we said. So here's a couple of other comparisons, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Model S and to some extent the Lucid Air, they start in the $70,000 range.
Right.
73, 75, that type of pricing we're talking about. Then they move up, obviously, to higher performance models.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Lucid Air, their highest performance model is like $160,000.
Yeah.
Quite expensive.
Yes, it is.
And the Model S Plaid edition will be also pushing, high into the six-figure range.
Yeah.
The current S-Class, because also there's a new one.
Yeah, the brand new one.
It starts at around 95 grand, maybe just a little bit lower. What do you think the starting price will be of this?
I think just over 100 grand will be for the base rear drive version of this vehicle. That's a guess. They have not given us any indication of what the pricing will be.
So I can buy a Model S all-wheel drive base model and still have like 30 grand left?
Yeah, which would be great because you have to buy those extra components and put them back on the vehicle.
Oh, no. Well, obviously I can't complain about price because we don't know the official number.
Exactly.
So guys, let us know what you think. Did Mercedes EQS, their first US all-electric sedan entry, is it a smash hit?
Yes.
Or not? Because I think it's not.
No, you're wrong.